All right, friends, now we're at number 2. So remember, we are going backwards, intentionally deconstructing. Number 5 is fully committed, going all in. 4 is creating your business power of ones. Number 3 is creating your personal power stack, the internal, the deep work for you. And now number 2 is creating pulls in your life and in your business rather than pushes. A few years ago, when I was just having to start from frickin' square one, ground one, and it was tough, I promise you. And I was having those conversations in the mirror, and I'm staring in the mirror, and I'm crying, and I'm like, how do I stop stopping? How do I keep stalling? How do I just start to finally get myself moving forward and get this momentum back? I had all this great momentum earlier, and then I went through some of the tough crap, and then it was like trying to get going again. And friends, as I was deconstructing this stuff, and when I got to this number 2, it was that it was so much air, so much stress, it was so much pushing constantly. And then I got myself to realizing, it's like, well, how do I not feel like I'm constantly exerting brute force, right? There's like so much brute force in my business, in my day. My eyes woken up, and within seconds of my eyes awakening, there's like stressors, and I'm thinking of all the bad shit and all the exertion and all the stress and all the things and all the brute force I'm gonna have to exert that day to get through my day, to get shit happening, to make sales happening, to get money coming in the door. And I realized, I'm like, if this can be moved to pull, rather than this, how can I be pulled? How can I be pulled? So just how can my day get easier? Like, how can I move into a joyful, happy day rather than a day of brute force and stress and mega exertion, right? It's like, how can I get myself into a day where it's just, I'm happier, I'm more joyful? And this was creating a series and system of pulls. Well, what does that mean? Well, when I began thinking of what would pull me, what pulled me was to make sure that I was really dialed into just a very few areas. But number 1 is that whole area of, am I pursuing what other people think I should be doing? Did I kind of allow myself to get over to do the thing that maybe I thought would be a moneymaker, or I thought would be the successful thing, or I thought would be the thing that would allow the business to grow? Or was this the area that was really that I'm like, am I really passionate in this area? And when I really started to fine tune and dial this in, it's like, no, this is really where I'm passionate. I am passionate in this area. And when that passion then, and this is one of the really cool areas, but when you take your passion and then you can kind of pivot that then into a purpose. And now it's that purpose driven, right? Like, you've read a book like, the Purpose Driven Life. It's like, now I'm starting to be in passion, but now I'm also starting to be in purpose. That was a big deal to me. And when I began getting in purpose too, and from, the step we just talked about earlier, I was beginning to get the belief in myself, right? Because I'm only working in my strengths, not working on the weaknesses. I'm only inside that strength, all the areas we just talked about, the genius, the strengths, those unique abilities, those gifts, those talents, very internal stuff, right? But now it's like the on purpose is that there is a greater purpose outside of myself now. It's like it's outside of me. And now I'm starting to get pulled because I'm starting to think of, okay, there's this passion, and I now feel like there's this purpose I have, but then after I got past that, I'm starting to get this belief and this certainty and this confidence in my life. Then it started to move into, it was just the impact. And that got into be a really cool area for me. Because when you're in the bad place, when there's fear, depression, anxiety, all that nonsense, all the brain trick, you go in thinking about you. You become, unfortunately, it's a very selfish place to reside. It's a very taking place to reside, because you're only thinking about you. How's this? When you start to realize that this work you do, the very, very, very important work that you do, the reason we're here on this earth, hopefully, joy, happiness, impact, positive change, is what is this impact beyond me? And then as you continue to go, and as I continued to go, it was for my daughter, it was for my brother, it was my parents, it was about neighbors, it was about other family members, it was about friends, it was about community, It was about some of the donation places. It was about some of the friends of the friends. It was about the clients. It was about the clients of the clients, the referrals from the clients of the clients. It was about some of the testimonials from the people and the comments, and then some of the shares and some of the other things that started happening. And all of a sudden I realized that when I was having my boohoo moment, I was like, oh, woe is me, it's a terrible day. I began to realize, I was like, dude, this is not a you thing. This impact that you can create when all these things are really getting lined up and put together, this is a big deal. This is not a you thing, brother, sister. This is not a you thing. This is children and family members and parents and siblings and neighbors and communities and churches and places that need your monies and your energies and your creativities and your clients. It's at the least dozens and dozens and dozens of people. If not, when you really start to figure out the real impact, you get into hundreds and thousands and beyond easily. The real impact that you can create. So think of, how can you get your business into a place of being pulled? How can you be pulled into this greater place? And when you start getting pulled by your business, the impact, by that passion, that purpose that pulls you, so you're not exerting brute force every day. You're not exerting the, killing it, I'm going to crush it, I did the grinder. But you're exerting the same amount of energy and effort, but it's that of happy and joy and impact and spread and ripple and purpose and passion. Then all of a sudden that exertion, that thing that you're doing throughout your day becomes easier, becomes simpler, becomes flow. It becomes sustainable day after day after day after day. So our last video, which is number 1, is going to take you then to, where do we really now start? Where's that starting place? Where, remember, because we're doing this all in reverse by design. Don't just count bad. Where do you start? Where's that starting point place where from there we can then build to our being pulled, the impact, to our personal power stack, the greatest areas, our greatest strengths, into now formulating the business of our ones that then allows us to be able to fully commit and really want to go all in on this stuff. So friends, my name is Dallas Hardcastle. If this has been helpful to you, please like, comment, share. If you know someone who is not getting the business that they want, that they maybe are doing a business that you think maybe you're just on the outside looking in and saying, this just doesn't fit this person, this isn't who they are. I know that they could be on purpose, on passion, on fire, understanding the impact that this really has on the world, that could be that little tiny bit, that little foothold, that little nuance that starts moving them in an entirely different direction. Please share this with them. Friends, next video, and ironically the last one, number 1, we'll show you how to get all of this stuff started. My name is Dallas Hardcastle. Thank you for watching. Make today mammoth, my friends, and we will talk again soon.